Welcome back to a brand new episode of Mastering Programming. In today's episode, I'll be showing you how to share information between view controllers just like this. So if I type in David and then click on back, this will take me to a different view controller and the information is passed to that controller. I can then change it or add to it, add whatever I want and click on next, for example, and this takes me to a different view controller, but it shares that information. The data is shared throughout any view controller in the app. If this is something you're interested in, then please continue watching and maybe just click that subscribe button. Without further ado, let's get this episode started. Welcome back, guys. So the first thing we want to do is obviously create the second view that we're going to be sharing the information from. So what I want to do is, first of all, I want to zoom out a little bit. I'm going to bring my face all the way to the bottom here. And what I can do is I can click on this button, and in the search bar here, I can search for a view controller. And I'm going to go ahead and drag and drop this view controller just over here, just like that. Let's go ahead and zoom back in. And what we want to do is now create a file for this view controller. So if you go ahead and click here, for example, and then click over there, click on this form of like ID card over here, you'll see that this view controller is connected to a class called view controller. We want to create the exact same thing, just another class for this view controller. For this view, sorry. So what I want to do is go right under view controller, actually click on it, right click, create a new file. And what you're going to select is Cocoa Touch class and then click on next. And I'm going to call it second view. And subclass of, make sure you select UI view controller. Make sure the language is Swift and you don't need to check this, and go ahead and click on next. And I'm just going to click on create. And now we have our file, but that's not it. We actually need to connect this file to our view. So I'm going to go ahead to my main storyboard, click on this button over here, and make sure you select the ID card, and where it says class, I want you to click on this button. Scroll down until you see the name of the file that you just created. So we called it second view controller. So I'm going to go ahead and click on it, and now we have it connected. So now this view over here is connected to the second view controller, and this one is connected to the view controller. Let's add a text field. So I'm going to click on the button and I'll type in text field. I'll drag and drop the text field maybe just over here at the very top of the screen. And I'll drag it across the screen just like this. And what I want to do next is also get a button just like this. Perfect. And what I want to do is I want to select the button and now select this like arrow facing down, and instead of just saying button, I'm going to go I'm just going to say next, and let's just make it a little bit bigger just like this. Perfect. And we want to do the exact same thing on the other side. So actually I'm just going to select both of them by selecting this and then click on shift and select the button as well. And I'm going to duplicate them by command D, and I'll drag them and I'll simply drop them in my second view. Pretty easy. Just like this. And instead of saying next, I will say back. So what do we actually want to do here? What we want to do is we want the user to be able to enter some text here, for example David, and when they click next, they navigate back to this view over here, and in the text field we'll be able to see David. And if they do any changes here and then click back, we'll be able to go to the previous view and we'll see those changes that the user did here. So pretty much we're going to keep a consistent information between both. And I'm just going to put this a little bit higher because it is really annoying me how it's not aligned. Okay, that looks good. Let's zoom out. Okay, so let's start by this view first. So I'm going to select again the very top. I'm going to click on this button over here and then click on assistant. and I'm going to select my text field over here, and I'll go ahead and say text field 1, and for the button I'm going to drag and drop over here, and I will say next button. Now let's scroll a little bit here. Just simply tap on this page, and if you already had this open, it will go to the view controller for it. And what we want to do is again drag and drop this, and to do that, by the way, you just hold control, click on it and drag, and we'll call it second text field, just like this. What we want to do is also click on the back button, take it over here, and I'll say back button, just like this. So basically what we want to do is we want to create actions in both those buttons, so whenever they're pressed, we navigate to another view, and B, we obviously change or update the information. So let's see how we can do that. What I will do is I'll actually close the storyboard, and I'll just go to my view controller, the first one, and see what code we can add in order to actually do this navigation. So what I'm going to say is I'll say let VC is equal to storyboard question mark dot instantiate view controller identifier, just leave it as empty for now, and then what you need to do is type in as, and after the exclamation mark key, what you want to do is you want to type in the name of the view controller. So you want to call it this, not the name of the file, but you want to copy this. In my case, I'll just copy it and I'll paste it over here, just like this. Now obviously we left something empty here, so let's go ahead and try and understand what we were meant to do. It says here identifier. Let's go to the main storyboard. Let's go ahead and select this storyboard, and then select at the top here, and what you need to go is you go to this ID card, and you'll see something here that says identity storyboard ID. So this is the identifier that it was referring to in our file. All we need to do is simply give it a name. I'll give it second view. So remember, second view, and since we're at it, I'm also going to call this one first view. Now make sure you spell this exactly the same way you spelled it. At the moment, we wanna, when someone clicks on next, we wanna navigate to the storyboard with this ID. So I'm gonna copy this, and I'm going to go back to my view controller, and I'm going to paste it inside of here. Okay, so that's not enough, obviously. What we wanna do is then present this view. So all I'm going to do is I'll say vc.model presentation style, and over here I'm simply going to say full screen. So this is whether or not you want it to be full screen. In this case, I want it to be full screen. And then now that we set up how we want to present it, we can simply say we need to say present VC, and here you'll get the option to make it animated or not. So I can say animated, and I don't really want it to be animated, so I'll simply say false. Okay, cool. So let's actually go ahead, run this app, and I'll run it on the iPhone 11, and I'm simply going to press play, and once it loads up, we'll go ahead and check if this will actually work or not. Okay, so the app just launched, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to type something up here, and I'll just say David, and it doesn't really matter because we didn't even do this part yet, and I'm going to go ahead and click next. And as you can see, as soon as I clicked on next, we did navigate to another view, but obviously none of the information got transferred, and obviously we didn't set up this button yet. So let's just do this right now. I'm going to go back, and since we know the navigation parts work, all I'm going to do is simply copy this, and I'm going to open, let's just close this so we have more space. I'm going to open that second view controller that we created. So I'm going to press on this button over here, and I'm going to select second view controller. And what I want to do is I want to come to this second button action, And I'm going to paste exactly what we wrote over here. Except this time, instead of saying second view controller, we want to navigate to the view controller. Again, remember, you need to copy the ID or the class name and not the file name. Obviously, something else that you need to do is you need to change the identifier from second view to first view, which is the ID that we gave to our view controller. Let's go ahead and run this and see if we will be able to navigate backwards and forwards. So let's go back, click next, we navigate, click here, and we are getting an error. Let's go ahead and see what the error is. Okay, so it seems like I did do a mistake, and that is I added an extra D here. Let's simply go back. Instead of first view, it's just first view. And if we run this right now, and go back, next, back. So as you can see, we can move between views. The objective now is that if someone types something here and then goes back, we should be able to see here and so on. So let's go ahead and actually do this. So I'm going to pause the project from running. And what I want to do in my second view here, I'm going to create a new variable, and I will say var information, and I'll just leave it with an open string. Let's go ahead and copy this, go to our first view controller, and what we want to keep here is initial information. That's all we want to do. Now let's go ahead and save this file and save this file as well. Now watch what's about to happen. We are referring to this file as VC. So if I come over here and type in VC dot, as you can see, we're able to actually access all the properties stored inside that class, including information. So I can go ahead and click this, and what I will do is I will say that this information should be equal to string interpolation, the text field, so the information from my text field dot text, just like this. And what we want this to have is the same thing. So every time we go back, what we want to do is we also want to give the initial information, the information in our text field. So I'm going to go ahead and I will say vc dot initial information, and we want to give it the information in our current text field. So I'm going to say second text field dot text. There we go. Dot text. There we go. Perfect. So if we run this right now, nothing is actually going to work because we're just assigning it to the information, but we didn't assign it to the second text field. So what we need to do is we need to go here to our view did load, and what we want to do is we want to say text field 1 dot text is equal to initial information, and same exact thing here. We're going to say second text field dot text is equal to information. Okay, cool. So let's save this. Let's go ahead and run it and see if this will actually end up working. I'm going to type in David. I'll click on next, and as you can see, it says optional David. So obviously there's a problem here. In order to fix it, all we need to do is simply come over here, put an exclamation mark, come over here and put an exclamation mark. Let's go ahead and run this and see if this will actually work. I'm going to put in David. I'm going to click on next. As you can see, it simply says David. Now let's go ahead and add my last name, Bullis. Click back, and as you can see, it was added. Let's go ahead, I don't know, add something else. Is a developer, and if I click on next, you will see it. If I remove everything and leave the D, you'll see that everything does get updated as well. I hope you did enjoy this episode. Please leave a like, leave a subscribe. Let me know if this is a suitable way for your project, or if this is a way that you think can actually be used in a real project or not. If you have a better way, let me know. And please remember to give your feedback, give a like or a dislike if you didn't like this project. If you want to contact me or hire me or ask me any question, please follow the information in the description to do that. Have a good day.